إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح لهذه الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وتركها على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أعاذنا الله وإياكم والمسلمين منها. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, يقول الله عز وجل في محكم التنزيل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, a man was stranded in an isolated island after his ship was wrecked and broke down. He has nothing, just himself on this island. So he was trying to survive the new situation, to get adjusted to the new life. And he was trying to learn how to hunt animals to live on, to get the fruits and veggies on this island, just to survive. 5 months later, he built a hut, shelter, so wild beasts don't attack him. 5 months later, this hut was set on fire. Everything was gone. His belongings, his last food, his last hope of life was gone. This man was talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "Oh Allah, why you did this to me? This is my last chance to survive. Why me? Why you did that to me? I'm gonna die because of this accident." He was blaming Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his fire. He was blaming Allah, and he was making the same act Iblis made a long time ago. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was asking the angels to prostrate to him, Iblis was in the rank of angels and he was with them. He was with the angels when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered them to prostrate to Adam, and he refused. Iblis said, قَالَ رَبِّي بِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي. You did it to me. Iblis alayhi la'natullah blamed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his problems. This man did the same act, said, Allah, you took the last chance for me to survive. Why are you doing this to me? And he was passed out the next morning. The next morning, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, help has come to him. People saw the smoke coming from the hut, and they knew somebody was asking for help. So they came to him and rescued him. The man was blaming Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his problem, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had different plans for this man. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always have good plan, and I will prove it in this khutbah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always wants the good for the humans, for us. You look at it, in the recent time, you have problems, but your problems, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might protect you from a bigger problem. His heart was gone, his food was gone, his shelter. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent help to him by using the smoke of the hut. Subhanallah. Don't be like Iblis and blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the problems. And it is narrated, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, that one king has a prime minister, good friends, not only prime minister, but good friends. The king one day had an accident, and this accident caused his finger to be cut off, amputated. The king was so mad because of the incident, but the prime minister said, لَعَلَّهُ خَيْرٌ, might be a good thing. The king was so mad, more mad now of the prime minister, because he said, it might be khayr out of this. He said, what is khayr of my finger getting cut off? So he put him in jail. The king put the prime minister in jail. Now the prime minister in jail, the king went into a trip nearby, took his caravan and his people. All of a sudden something happened. He got lost, the caravan got lost the king, and they have no contact, no connection with the king. So he was looking outside, where's my people? I'm alone, again. So he was by himself. He walked to see what's going on. While he was walking, he was caught by people who worship idols. And it was their lucky day, because they found a hunt for them to sacrifice. They took that king for sacrifice, to sacrifice him. They took him to their village, and they started the process, because they worship idols, to sacrifice him for the idols. They looked at his finger and said, oh, this is not good. We need a full human, so just go. So they let him go. So the king is free. He went back to the prime minister, said, you're right about la'allahu khayr. It was actually khayr. Allah's plan saved the king and saved the prime minister also. He said, la'allahu khayr, he was put in jail. If he was with the king, because they're really best friends, the prime minister would be the sacrifice instead. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, has a plan for us. One of the friends told me the story. He's sitting today with the audience, told me he was trying to turn on the bus to go to work, because they have a transportation company. He was trying to turn it on, the bus won't start. He was so mad, like, why? Why the bus says, I need to make some money, it's my day today to make money. The bus won't start because his little brother was in the wheel. He was playing in that bus in the wheel. If this bus had started, his brother wouldn't have been alive today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has plans for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans are the best. Trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dear brothers in Islam, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we must have a trust in Allah. Because Allah's plans will protect us from bigger problems, as we see in the stories I mentioned. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a plan to save you. You don't look at it in the short term, look at the long term. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved the king, saved the first man, and saved his brother. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has better plans for us. We must trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah's plans sometimes come to teach us that failure is the first step to success. Failure is a first step to success. You know Dr. Seuss, the famous, well-renowned children writer. He was rejected 27 times. Went to the press, can I print this book? What is this? Just go. 27 times he was rejected. And he is now what we know, Dr. Seuss. Ask any kid, they know it. Abraham Lincoln, the President of the United States of America, he failed in elections 8 times. 8 times failed in elections. And he became the President of the US. We know Edison, how many times he failed. Then failure took him to success. So Allah's plan sometimes, when you see it, it's a failure, but don't give up, because failure is a good way to succeed. And trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because sometimes when an opportunity is closed, that means Allah has different plans. Maybe another opportunity will be open. When you go to job interview, you get rejected. Don't get sad and don't get mad, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might have better plans for you. Trust in Allah, because it's the way to elevate your rank in Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as it was mentioned in Surah An-Nisa, wants the good to us. يريد الله ليبين لكم ويهديكم سنن الذين من قبلكم ويتوب عليكم. All that's good stuff. He wants to forgive us. He wants to show us the right path. والله يريد أن يتوب عليكم ويريد الذين يتبعون الشهوات أن تميلوا ميلا عظيما. Allah wants the good for you, and the people who follow their desires, they want bad things to you. Who you follow? Allah orders or the people of desires. يريد الله ليبين لكم ويهديكم سنن الذين من قبلكم ويتوب عليكم والله عليم حكيم. والله يريد أن يتوب عليكم ويريد الذين يتبعون الشهوات أن تميلوا ميلا عظيما. يريد الله أن يخفف عنكم وخلق الإنسان ضعيفا. Allah wants to make it easier for you because humans are very weak. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes to make it easy for us. And dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we trust in Allah, we trust in His plans, because it's a way for us to erase our sins. إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. مَا مِن مُصِيبَةٍ, as in the hadith was narrated by Bukhari wa Muslim, ما من مصيبة تصيب المسلم إلا كفر الله بها عنه حتى الشوكة يشاكها. Even the thorn, even if you have a thorn in your finger, your feet, you will get ajr for it. حتى الشوكة يشاكها, it will erase your sins. So take it in this objective. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, also a very important element here is the dua. Dua, as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith, the dua and the qadar يتصارعان في السماء, will fight in the skies. Dua and qadar. And the Prophet ﷺ said in this hadith, فَيَغْلِبُ الدُّعَاءُ الْقَدَرُ. The dua will beat the qadar. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal radiyallahu anhu wa rahimahullah was traveling one day. At night he reached a mosque and he wanted to sleep in the mosque. The guard for the mosque, he didn't know this is Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. He said, get out, it's time to, no people sleep in this masjid. Get out, I want to sleep, it's really cold out and I want to sleep in the masjid. So he kicked him out of the masjid. Imam Ahmad was in the doorsteps in the masjid. One man looked, said, you're a stranger. He said, yeah, I am a stranger. Hey, come with me. He was a baker. And this baker was working at night because in the morning he wants to prepare food, the dolls and the bread and other stuff. So this man was saying astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. In each step he does astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Imam Ahmad was amazed. He said, I see you saying that istighfar a lot. Does this pay off for you? Does it work? He said, yes. I never asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for anything except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it happen to me, except one thing, to see Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal said, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal was dragged to your steps because of his dua and his istighfar. One doctor, Dr. Hisham, was traveling to a conference, and he's a well-known, renowned surgeon. This surgeon was going to a conference to lecture people about medicine and other stuff. His airplane, they have like bumpy rides, and they had to do emergency landing. So they landed 3 hours before the conference. The next airplane in this airport was going out in 16 hours, and he needed to go to the conference before that. So one guy suggested, just take car rental. He took a car rental, and it was very bad weather, very, very bad weather. He lost the navigation of the areas, so he didn't know where he going. So he ended up in a small village. He knocked on a door, and the door, an old woman was there with a little son. The old woman said, Dr. Hisham said, can I use your phone? He said, come on. In this area, a phone, there's no phone in this area. There's no communication. We don't communicate with people here. There's no communication, dear brothers and sisters in Islam. So she said, make yourself some tea and some food, you look pretty tired. So he made a tea, and he looked. A little kid was laying down in the bed, was very ill. The woman was his grandmother. He lost his parents, and he was very ill. The grandmother said she was making dua. Dr. Hisham asked her, what you making dua for? She said, my grandson is very ill, and I wanted him to get cured, but all the doctors in this area said there's no cure, and there's only one doctor in the whole entire region knows about his sickness. His name is Dr. Hisham. Dr. Hisham was in her doors, out of her dua. The dua, dear brothers and sisters, is a very powerful tool. Very powerful tool. Dua changes the qadar. This woman was making dua to meet Dr. Hisham. Dr. Hisham was brought to her steps. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the sky rain, made the roads very bad, and made him lose navigation to reach her step doors and to cure her son. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين استغفر الله. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على نبيه الذي اصطفى أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we talked in the first khutbah about to blame yourself or to blame Allah or to put the blame on somebody or something. This strategy was used, as I mentioned in the first khutbah, by Iblis. First, he blamed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People in the day of judgment, when they gather in Jahannam wal-iyadu billah, Iblis will make his khutbah. Iblis has a khutbah in the day of judgment. وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعْدَ الْحَقِّ وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. He's a good khatib, mashallah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعْدَ الْحَقِّ. Allah promised you the right promise, and I promised you the false promise. وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ وَمَا كَانَ لِيَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ إِلَّا أَنْ دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. I invited you and you accepted my invitation. فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Do not blame me, but blame yourselves. So blaming yourselves in the day of judgment. Why, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, some people blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for their problems? The answer is, it is an easy way to escape the real problem. You have a problem, but the easy way is to escape it, is to blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why your grades are bad at the school? It's al-qadar. Dear brother, it's not al-qadar. You did not work hard for, it is al-qadar, but you did not work hard to change the qadar. As Abu Ubaidah said to, Umar said to Abu Ubaidah, فررنا من قدر الله إلى قدر الله. You can change the qadar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the ability, gave you the intellect. So people often, they say it's al-qadar. Why you don't memorize the Quran? Because my memories are not very good and I don't have time. You have time and your memory is good. There's a lady in Hebron, Khalil, in Palestine. She started memorizing the Quran when she was 80 years old. She started memorizing the Quran. She started the process of memorizing the Quran. She finished memorizing the Quran at the age of 85. It's real. Go on to YouTube and you see her. She started memorizing the Quran at the age of 85. In 5 years, she finished the whole Quran, memorization. So you do have a good memory and you do have time. A woman here also in the US, she started the college at the age of 72 and she graduated with a bachelor degree at the age of 76. It's possible. It's possible. Don't blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your problems. Blame yourself. The conclusion, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, as I mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّا كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَاهُ بِقَدَرٍ. Everything is planned according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of the planners. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أحسن الخالقين, the best of the creators and the best of the planners. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with, this is the best plan for us. Don't blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your job. You're looking for a different job. Don't blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Work harder to get that better job. But don't blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something that you can change. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants the good for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to succeed. And there is no justification to blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plan. There is no justification to blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plans. Last thing I want to talk to you about, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Today is the 18th of Sha'ban. The month of Sha'ban, as it was mentioned in the hadith, it's one of the most neglected months of the year. Because the Prophet ﷺ said it comes before Ramadan and it comes after Rajab. Rajab is the Muharram, Ramadan, we know what's Ramadan. People often don't pay much attention to the month of Sha'ban. The month of Sha'ban, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, is the month where your deeds ascend to heaven for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the yearly review. There are 4 reviews to our deeds. The first one is the daily review after Fajr and after Asr. It's in the daily. Malaika has gone up and down as in the hadith. I don't have time to mention the hadith, but the hadith mentioned that the Malaika, the angels, go ascending to heaven and descending back to earth to report the deeds for humans every day in the morning and in the Asr time. That's the first review. The second review is in a weekly basis, as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith. Every Monday and every Thursday, your deeds will be reviewed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's better. And the Prophet ﷺ said, I like to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala my deeds while I'm fasting. The third review is the month of Sha'ban. In the month of Sha'ban, the angels take the whole year and put the whole year of worth of deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the month of Sha'ban is a very important month to us Muslims. It's the month where our deeds are reviewed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the whole entire year. And the fourth and the final one is when the human, or when you and I and everybody, when we die, the angels took all your life, the story of your life, the book that you wrote yourself. They took that book that you created. You're the author of your book. The angels will take your book, authored by every one of us. We'll take it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for reviews. One of them is the month of Sha'ban. The month of Sha'ban is very important, is as important as Rajab, as important as the month of Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among the people who reach Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the month of Sha'ban barakah in Sha'ban. Allahumma barik lana fi Sha'ban wa ballighna Ramadan. اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك يا مولانا سميع قريب مجيب للدعوات. إخوة الإيمان، اذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقم الصلاة.